An Essay on Crimes and Punishments by Cesar Beccaria. Chapter 8 of the Division of Crimes. We have proved then that crimes are to be estimated by the injury done to society. This is one of those palpable truths which, though evident to the meanest capacity, yet by a combination of circumstances, are only known to a few thinking men in every nation and in every age. But opinions worthy only of the despotism of Asia, and passions armed with power and authority, have generally by insensible and sometimes by violent impressions on the timid credulity of men, effaced those simple ideas which perhaps constituted the first philosophy of infant society. Happily, the philosophy of the present enlightened age seems again to conduct us to the same principles, and with that degree of certainty which is obtained by a rational examination and repeated experience. A scrupulous adherence to order would require that we should now examine and distinguish the different species of crimes and the modes of punishment. But they are so variable in their nature from the different circumstances of ages and countries that the detail would be tiresome and endless. It would be sufficient for my purpose to point out the most general principles and the most common and dangerous errors in order to undeceive as well those who from a mistaken zeal for liberty would introduce anarchy and confusion as those who pretend to reduce society in general to the regularity of a convent. Some crimes are immediately destructive of society or its representative. Others attack the private security of the life, property, or honor of individuals, and a third class consists of such actions as are contrary to the laws which relate to the general good of the community. The first, which are of the highest degree, as they are most destructive to society, are called crimes of lese majesty. Tyranny and ignorance, which have confounded the clearest terms and ideas, have given this appellation to crimes of a different nature, and consequently have established the same punishment for each. And on this occasion, as on a thousand others, men have been sacrificed victims to a word. Every crime, even the most private nature, injures society, but every crime does not threaten its immediate destruction. Moral, as well as physical actions, have their sphere of activity differently circumscribed, like all the movements of nature, by time and space. It is therefore a sophistical interpretation, the common philosophy of slaves, that would confound the limits of things established by eternal truth. To these succeed crimes which are destructive of the security of individuals. This security being the principal end of all society, and to which every citizen hath an undoubted right, it becomes indispensably necessary that to these crimes the greatest of punishments should be assigned. The opinion that every member of society has a right to do anything that is not contrary to the laws without fearing any other inconveniencies than those which are the natural consequences of the action itself is a political dogma, which should be defended by the laws inculcated by the magistrates and believed by the people. A sacred dogma, without which there can be no lawful society, a just recompense for our sacrifice of that universal liberty of action, common to all sensible beings, and only limited by our natural powers. By this principle, our minds become free, active, and vigorous. By this alone, we are inspired with that virtue which knows no fear, so different from that pliant prudence, worthy of those only who can bear a precarious existence. Attempts, therefore, against the life and liberty of a citizen are crimes of the highest nature. Under this head, we comprehend not only assassinations and robberies committed by the populace, but by grandees and magistrates, whose example acts with more force and at a greater distance, destroying the ideas of justice and duty among the subjects, and substituting that of the right of the strongest, equally dangerous to those who exercise it and to those who suffer. An Essay on Crimes and Punishments by Cesar Beccaria.